Hi everyone, and welcome to the next episode of our match report. This episode we're going to be creating a weekly or a match by match look at some of our data here that we've created on the left hand side for this match in particular. To get to this point though, I've had to make a few changes to our data model in the background, and these are things you will probably encounter yourself as well. You'll start out thinking everything's okay, but then when you start to move along, you'll find some little hiccups possibly. So I'm going to go through and step through some of the issues that I found. So firstly, there were a few problems with the way that our relationships were working. And to solve that issue, what I've done is I've added our match table back into our events table. For this method though, I've done a little different to what I could have done. So what you could do is you could go back and replace some of the columns that I removed here. But just to give you an idea of another method you have, I have actually merged a query in here. So to do that, what you can do is click on events at the top here, then click merge queries. I'm going to do this at the bottom so then it doesn't give me that added step thing. So you'll click merge queries and then you'll find the table, which was matches, and then you'll just include the relevant columns that you want. So for that, you'll just click on match date and then hold Control to hit match date 2. And that'll just have a second value in it. Do the same thing for events, click OK. Once you've done that, what you'll do is you'll get an embedded table, which you can then click here to expand, and you can choose the columns that you want, and you can also use the original column name as a prefix if you like, but I got rid of that, and so mine just looks like it would normally. So I've added back in season name, match date, home team name, and away team name. And our next thing we had to do was I removed the relationship, the two-way relationship between event and matches. That has helped to solve most of the issue as well. But I have left the matches table in, and they still govern these cards at the top. To make things easier, I've also just added a match date. On the front page, the only changes we had to make were, and now our season selector is coming from the events table, and I've also added the match name into our events table, which was previously in the match table. Alright, so now on to today's things we're going to add in. And firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to add a match by match graph for each of our variables on the left hand side here. So we'll just get going really quickly, and we've got, now that we've added our match date into our events table, we can just drag that onto the axis. Oops, don't mean to click the X. And we're going to change that from being a hierarchy into just a match date, like that. And then the second thing we're going to do is just going to add passes total, so that we have our graph. And we can see it's match by match. And this one here is going to be over all of time, or within the season that we have selected. To make this work, there's one small change we've had to make here. I've stopped using team name and our as a variable at the top here, and our match date now is included here rather than match ID. Those were two things causing me some problems, but they're also coming now from just our events table. So what we've had to do is do that for each of our variables here on the right hand side. Our next step here is for match date, we're going to add in a top n filter. I'm just going to show the top 10, and we're just going to drag a match date to there. When it loads, it's going to be by earliest match date, which is perfect. I'm just going to hit apply. So now we only have 10 matches there. And then we can just add a few things in here. So let's add change our title slightly. As it's complete by match date. Add that to the middle, and we're going to make that 16 as well. On the y-axis, we can get rid of the grid lines, and we can also change the title if we like there. And what we might do is just up the size of the text a little bit so it's a bit easier to read. But we're going to have to turn off responsive to make that happen. There you go. So let's just make that a little bit smaller actually. 12 was good for that. Let's make these 12 as well. There we go. And then what we are going to do is we're just going to turn the title off from our x-axis like that. And there we go. Some couple more things we can add here is we can add some data labels so we can see our values. Just make them black so we can see them a bit better. Let's make them a bit bigger as well. There we go. And because we've turned responsive off, we can make these labels as big as we like. We could add in a line here, but for now we're just going to leave this as is. And in a future episode we might add in an average line over a rolling period as well. So now that we have those, I've already created the last 3 graphs, but I've got a few changes to make so we can go through and make them while we're here. So we're going to change exactly the same way that we have done for our top graph. So we're going to go and turn responsive off. We're going to remove our title from our x-axis. We're going to make our text a little bit bigger. Turn off our grid lines. Our value on the y-axis is great for title. Add in some data labels. And change our title, change the size, and then let's just adjust our there we go. Notice we haven't got rid of our grid lines yet. There we go. Alright. Do the same things to these last 2. So here, 1, 2, 3. Turn off responsive. Remove the title. Change the text size. And adjust our title slightly. And last one. Let's just start from the bottom. Thing was here, and we've got average defenders. Oops. Find with the ball by match date. There you go. Let's change responsive off. For x-axis, we'll leave that as size 10 because we don't want that too big. We will keep our title, but we will call it match date, and we'll leave it like that. the y-axis, let's change the size a bit. Get rid of our grid lines. Defenders behind the ball. Okay. Alright. So what we can do for this one is, because we are trying to make everything line up, we can line that up a little better. And there we go. Last thing we need to add for this one is our data labels. So let's do that. Make sure they're black. And then just change the size. There we go. What I will do is get rid of the decimal place for this though. There we go. And then we have it. Now we have 4 graphs showing our values over time by match day. At the moment, the only issue with the way that Power BI works is that these are only going to show from their most recent match. So for example, if I go back to a previous match, say, let's go against Birmingham on the 5th of the 1st, sorry. Go back to our report. We still have the exact same values. So here, it's still the 13th of February. So when we go away, we're going to go for a look for a solution and see if we can find out how to change that and make sure that these values are still filtered previous to our most recent game. So if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe below, and make sure you're looking out for more videos to help power your performance through data. Thank you.